Welcome to the Argue Your Point podcast. Here are your hosts, Jeff Mitri and Mason Mitri.
Yeah. Let's get motivated.
Hey, everyone.
What's
Argue Your
going
Point.
on?
It's back. Another pod.
Episode number
5.
6.
No, 5. I think it's 5.
No. I got the celebration thing from. It's trust me. It's episode number 6, and we come to you on a bit of a sad note.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to be talking about the Bills going to the AFC Championship, but if you're listening, you probably have already heard the Bills lost to the Broncos in one that
Buffalo fashion.
Still stings in Buffalo fashion. Yeah, I don't disagree.
Breath.
Yeah. We'll get into it. The season's officially over, though. That is a fact. And we're going to break down the Bills' loss to the Broncos, and we're going to talk about some news that just came earlier today. That is the firing of head coach Sean McDermott, coached for 9 years. He brought a lot of stability to the organization. He broke the drought. I mean, you can't forget. Yeah, the quarterback or the coach that ended up doing that. And the Bills Mafia will forever be indebted to that, because that was a big moment, and that was just the start of the era that just ended. And another with that news of firing Sean McDermott, they also elevate Brandon Beane to the president of football operations. And he'll be leading the new coach search. And that comes to a shock to some people. And some people have opinions on that. Mason, why don't you jump in?
Yeah. That was a stupid decision by the Bills to fire.
Okay.
It's like the worst thing that happened in Buffalo since 13 seconds. Firing McDermott.
No.
That's a horrible thing they should do. I mean, McDermott should not have been fired. I think Beane should have been fired instead. Like, when Beane wasn't even here, McDermott was leading his charge to get Josh Allen. I think he got Tremaine Edmonds, Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer. I mean, if anyone, it's just, Beane is not a very good GM.
Well, Beane and McDermott came at pretty much at the same time.
Yeah.
Um.
Well, I think Beane came a year later. Pretty sure he might have. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll have to check into that. But yeah, I mean the what we're looking at is season over, disappointing loss, and an organizational change. Not a total regime change, but I mean, kind of is. I mean, when a new coach comes in here, he's going to have his own new voice, his own personality and philosophy, and we'll see where that goes. And we could talk a little bit later about some coach candidates for that job and what that's going to look like. But let's start with the game. The Bills lose to the Broncos.
33-30 overtime.
33-30 in overtime. Go ahead, Mason. Take it over.
Yeah, let's start with the game. The Bills lose to Denver AFC divisional rounds, and it really felt like the game where Buffalo was so close to just one big play away. You know, one big catch, one run. I mean, they were right there the entire game. I mean, the biggest lead Denver had was 13 points. Biggest lead Buffalo had was only 4. So, I mean, if you look at the stats, Buffalo's winning just about all of them.
Yep.
I mean, in possession, they had doubled them. They had 40 minutes possession. Denver only had 20.
Yeah, they did lead in almost every single statistical category except the turnovers. And a lot of times that is what you look at as an indicator of who won the game. Sometimes if that's all you can look at, it's not always the case, of course. But it was pretty lopsided, 4-1, 5-1. If you discount the controversial call that we haven't really got into yet.
Yeah, off air, there was a big argument this morning off air
Yeah.
Just seen it.
Well, that's let's take it back. Let's go back to that conversation.
Yeah.
And so what we're talking about is in overtime, the end of the game, game's on the line.
3rd and 10.
Next
score wins.
Denver already has a possession, so all we have to do is score to win, a field goal or anything, and the ball's up. Brandon Cooks literally catches it and gets his knee down, and then as he goes to the ground, the other guy grabs it and rolls with it, and they don't make any explanation. They're just like, no, we're not even reviewing it. It's Denver's ball. And then come to find out, you see the different angles. They had time to review it. It didn't have to be a coach's challenge, but
you can't make
a booth challenge. Right, yeah. That doesn't matter. The coach shouldn't even have to do that. The coach shouldn't even need to be involved, but they should review it. And just like they did review it in the Rams Chicago Bears game. And it's just so frustrating. It was so frustrating when it happened, and it looked like he was down. If he was down, then they kick a field goal that was less than 50 yards than
where he did. 50-yarder.
Yeah, he already had a 50-yard in the high altitude. In the high altitude,
he's played in Denver too.
Right,
most of his career has been in Denver.
Most of his career,
yeah, he played Denver, then went to Arizona.
Yeah, and that was just robbery. I can't believe and even if they had a explanation, then tell us what the explanation is in the game. And so they didn't do that. And from what I understand it, what are you doing here? From what I understand it, here, let's just leave that on. From what I understand it, if it's a 50-50 ball, it goes to the receiver, not the defender.
Whoever, if it's when they both have possession, the rule is it's always the receiver. They always have possession. It's
right.
More like
and I don't even think it was that, because his knee hit the ground before the guy even wrapped his hands around the football.
Yeah.
Both of his hands.
And you know what's even crazier?
It was just terrible.
They didn't challenge it. And when it's
there was no challenge. He called the timeout.
Okay, the thing. When it was the playoffs overtime, and it's a very close call, the refs, I mean, that's like both teams' season on the line. You got to take a look at that.
Yeah.
That's just a call. And with last night, the Bears game, the Rams did a really close call of that. And it was in overtime. Might have been, actually. And they checked, and they reviewed it, and they were like, oh, he caught it.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do
it
that
might
with
have been in
Buffalo.
overtime, yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, and it was just when it happened, I was so on the edge of my seat, excited to possibly win, and then in that moment when he runs away with the ball and they're like, oh, 1st and 10, it's like it's over. It's done. So you're frustrated, angry, mad, confused, shocked.
Yeah.
All at the same time.
So
Buffalo Bills fan.
At first, for a second, I thought he didn't catch it. Then when I saw the Denver guy running away, I knew, that's horrible. I mean, that's just something you can't. I mean, even with the Bills, I mean, what's even worse about that? It's 3rd down. They don't have to go, 50 yards up the field, everything. They could just hit like a short 7-yard catch and hope he can get an extra 3 yards. They don't have to go. That's what's weird about it, because they've been hitting the short yards. I mean, overtime running, they didn't do anything with James Cook running. So
in overtime?
Yeah, they got like 1 yard. Yeah. So that's what's really weird. Why wouldn't they just
run
go
the
for
ball
a
a little
shorter?
more?
No, not the run the ball. Just when it was 3rd down and 10 in overtime with and next score wins the game, you just want to go for short. You don't want to do all of it. I mean, they have
especially
the time.
when they've already had their possession, they punted it to you.
Yeah. So that's what's really weird about it.
Yeah, they did have. You're right. They could have slow played the whole thing, and they did kind of play with urgency. But I was like,
no, it wasn't even.
I mean, I wasn't. I'm not the one playing the calls, making the calls, but I couldn't wait to win though. Like I kind of wanted to win quick too, because
well, you want to win.
they're getting tired.
Yeah.
You want to wear them down in the high altitude in overtime. I talked about it in the pod before. I said the only thing I hope they don't do is get into overtime. That's when the altitude really might take a toll. The rest of the game, not so much. But overtime, is a different story.
Even if you're a Denver fan, you're not too happy right now because Bo Nix, ankle injury. I don't know what injured his
I'd still
ankle.
be happy.
Yeah. I'm just gonna run down a list of if they want to keep with Jarrett Stidham or they could go with a Joe Flacco type guy. There's a couple guys. They could go Ryan Tannehill. They could go Cam Newton. Maybe even go Andrew Luck, but with injuries, Colin Kaepernick. There's a couple guys they could.
Andrew Luck retired.
2018.
Yeah. I don't think he.
36 though. He's not like
he didn't. But he retired early for a particular reason because he didn't want to play football anymore.
Yeah, injuries, everything. But because there is a good amount of guys on the list I have here. That I mean, if you're a quarterback with, say, you could be like a Peyton Manning, or not a Peyton Manning, like a Dan Marino type situation. You have no Super Bowls, and you can go to the AFC Championship. If you're if you want to do that, you might want to take that chance and ask Denver, hey, can I join you guys for that game? Because
I mean, a lot of people
see Joe Flacco
asking
last year with the Browns. He was good.
I'm sure a lot of people will want that opportunity. But it's up to the organization to give it to someone. All right, let's switch topics. I gotta. That's my natural transition. But I'll pretty soon we'll get some downloaded royalty-free transition buttons.
What if we do royalty? What if we pay for the royalty? We better like da-da-da, da-da-da.
Oh, don't say that. We're gonna get Doc now from ESPN if you just said that. No, okay. So
back it up.
So this morning, it was this morning. The Bills released a statement, and they fired Coach Sean McDermott, the coach who helped change the culture in Buffalo, made them a Bills playoff team year after year after year. Only the second year when they went 6-10.
It was Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's rookie season. So that was all kind of part of the plan. And plus they were doing financial things in that year or two to make it so, they didn't really care about that year. But yeah, he changed a lot. I mean, it went from Rex Ryan, who, is just chaos, and he's wearing college football helmets in press conferences, to Sean McDermott, who just speaks for the entire organization. And I know Terry Pagula liked that a lot. You just answer to him. Pagula doesn't have to go to the press conferences, which he kind of thought he needed to early on. He brought a lot of stability, continue, the same coaching staff year after year. That's really good for the maturation of guys like Josh Allen, Dan Dawkins, guys like that, Jordan Phillips. But it's sometimes the coach gets fired. Maybe it's not his fault. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
Reportedly, he's owed $16 million from the Bills, so financially he's probably pretty well set. Mm-hmm. But he didn't get it done here. You know.
I mean, so what you were saying didn't get done. When you have 8 seasons with top 5 offense and probably a top defense too, and you don't go to Super Bowl once, that's insane.
And Sirianni's been there twice, won once.
It's our dog, Charlie.
Yep.
She's a little nut. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah. So that's just I don't get it why. So McDermott didn't. That's what I don't get. McDermott didn't build the roster. He coached the team he was given. They were always competitive.
Yeah.
And I don't think he deserves all the blame for losing close playoff games.
No.
And I don't think anyone does. It's a team game.
It's team sport.
It's not like. I mean, whenever the blame is always on Josh Allen, it's always on the head coach. But McDermott is just given the players and the equipment, all that stuff. So
he's given the players. You're right, and Bean assembles the team.
He does what the coach wants. He says, "I need wide receivers." GM's giving them wide receivers, but Bean.
Well, I don't know if they're always on that same page because after the trade deadline passed, this recent one, McDermott afterwards said, I would have liked some help in wide receiver. I think he said, or
Jacoby Myers, something like that.
Or maybe he just said I would have liked some help, and maybe he didn't specify the position. But so that was kind of him saying, like you didn't do, you didn't upgrade. You didn't upgrade. I wanted an upgrade. But it's his job to coach, the players that he has. That's really his job, and it's the GM's job to give the coach the players he needs, basically. And a lot of people think that Bean didn't do enough of that. He's got a lot of hits. He's got a lot of misses. We can go down the list. We're not going to do that, but there's clearly a lot of hits and misses. It's pretty well known that he had Bean assembled a weak wide receiver room. Matt Collins would have been an asset this season. So he's got to address the wide receiver in some situation. Maybe he'll make a big splash. I don't know.
Yeah, get a star like AJ Brown. Maybe
I hope not.
No, you don't want him?
No.
Why not?
Because he's.
Don't say he's bad. He's good.
He's not okay. The cliche diva. He takes that to the extreme. He's constantly unhappy. He pouts. He takes himself out of the game, where he clearly shows like being disingenuous, like he's not, like he's truly not trying on purpose because he has a problem with the way the offense is being run, and he'll constantly put out cryptic messages on social media and play that all the time. And no, I do not. And he drops a lot of balls in big moments. It's one thing to call, say, give me the ball more and get upset when they don't. And then it's another thing to say that. And then when the ball's thrown away in big moments and you drop the ball. So no, it's a big no for me. That's my take on AJ Brown.
Here's my argument. AJ Brown, he's a star player. When he was with the Titans, he was electric. Then they traded him.
They got rid of him because he was a problem.
No, because they had no cap space. And
they could have kept him. They were just like, good luck.
Well, when you have I think you just won out of Tennessee. They had no quarterback. Who was their quarterback? Ryan Tannehill? Then, him and A.J. Brown were good. It's just they had a good quarterback that could be a good team. But A.J. Brown, he's a good player. I mean, he makes good plays. He made it early season. He had like a 98-yard touchdown, something like that. Not even 90, like 55. But so I really think that's.
So back to the coaching.
Yeah, well, some of McDermott being fired and all the lack of wins and playoffs. Some of that's coaching, but not all of it. You can't coach the separation. You can't coach catching the ball if the players aren't doing it. They don't have the players to do it. They don't have the coaching to do it.
Right. Yeah. No, I know. I mean, you can't. There's a lot of things you can't blame. I mean, this last game, the Broncos game, I don't think there's anything you pin the coach on.
I mean,
there's been other games, but every coach has those moments. He did seem to get better with the clock as seasons went along.
Yeah. Look at our receivers. You gotta look at the depth. The injuries every year. I mean, we lost Palmer for most of the years. Curtis Samuel, and I mean, that's not all the coach. But if McDermott gets blamed for some of the playoff losses, then Bean should really get blamed.
Yeah.
Wide receivers we're near or the bottom of the league in separation.
Yeah.
We had way too many drops. That's a rust problem right there. Not McDermott's fault.
Yeah.
And
You make a strong argument there, Mason. The front office builds the roster. The coach has to work within it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So not only does Bean not get fired, he gets promoted to GM/president of football operations. He'll now lead the search for the next coach. They were saying on the radio today, like, oh, does that really, he's got another little title. Does that change anything? Probably not. I think it does. I think
the confidence? No?
I think maybe this is a sign that Terry Pegula is going to take a little step back and just trust one person to kind of play his role. And he'll still be involved in the head coach interviewing process. Pegula, that is.
Yeah.
But I think after that, I think he'll take a few more steps back. Just kind of like what I think he's doing with Jarmo Kekalainen with the Sabres.
Even
though he's not a president, they don't have that role in the Sabres organization. But I think he
where he said no one's
is getting
safe,
a little less involved.
The difference is, if you want to quote that, but no one's safe. He said that to the Sabres.
Who said that?
Kekalainen. He said.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Terry Pegula.
Yeah. He's a good owner. I mean, I think he'll really try to find the best coach. Him being trying to find the best coach fit our role.
Yeah, I do too. New stadium. The new coach. Yeah, I just thought of that. McDermott was probably looking forward to taking his team out of the tunnel in the new stadium. He's not going to be able to anymore.
I mean, maybe he might even.
Maybe he will as a visiting coach. That's crazy.
You know what bothers me the most? McDermott really built the team. If the team keeps coming short every year, and how does Bean get promoted? I feel like McDermott really just took the fall for everyone else. And he basically McDermott, whenever we were talking about before, who takes the most blame? No one takes the blame. It's a team sport, but McDermott always takes the blame. McDermott, maybe Josh Allen. So that's something you gotta
consider. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I guess my answer to that, not my answer, but how I would answer that is I think the Pegulas or Terry Pegula has the trust in Bean. He has
trust in Bean.
He has trust in Bean. He's like, Beaner, can you lead this organization?
Like, if you promote me, yes I will.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how that came about. Like Terry come to Brandon Bean and be like, what do you think about firing Sean McDermott? And Bean's like, I think it's time to. Or did Bean initiate that and say, look, I want to explore other options. I wonder who said it first, or maybe it's just like a plan. Like if we don't make the playoffs, we're having this meeting on the very next day at 8 a.m.
Not like
we're going to discuss. Yeah, maybe they're like, and we're just going to discuss the positions, whether we want to go one way or the other. We're going to have this meeting set up. I don't know if it's like that, but
could be just like a phone call to be fire McDermott.
No, I think they do that in person.
Yeah, so
decisions like that. Unless someone's in Florida and they can't, it could be a video conference too. I mean, that's not hard to believe or anything.
Yeah, well, if we're talking about Bean, if the wide receivers aren't good enough, and definitely there, that's on Bean. That's not on McDermott.
Yeah.
That's not something where McDermott should be blamed for that. Now, you could say McDermott is like, get better receivers, and, it could go both ways. You could say there's not enough cap space or stuff like that, but,
Yep.
I mean, whenever they add a guy, they have to cut someone, so that's what you have to think about it.
So, it's still fresh. That Sean McDermott is now the former coach, but it's time to turn the page a little bit.
Yep, new coaches for us.
Excuse me while I take a sip of water. It's time to look at some of the possibilities, and there's a lot of names out there. I don't know all of them.
I know all of them.
You've got a big list. There's a lot of names I'd have to look up and see what they're all about. Some of them I know. So Clint Kubiak is rumored to be a top candidate. You got to throw Brian Daboll in there. He's available. Mike McDaniel from Miami, Cliff Kingsbury, and Chris Shula, two guys that is on Mason's list.
Yes,
Personally, I'm leaning towards a young, offensive-minded coach. But Mason, I know you got a couple guys you really like, and why don't you tell us about them a little bit?
Yeah, some guys that I really like are Kingsbury and Chris Shula, and I like for different reasons, but also some other guys that I do like also.
Yeah.
Chris Shula, defensive coordinator for Rams. He turned that defense to a stellar defense, even when Aaron Donald retired. Good defense. Okay. And Clint Kubiak, offensive coordinator for Seattle. You see what they did to San Francisco? The team's Sam Darnold. He's an elite quarterback. He has the weapons, but he has some good plays. That playbook. I mean, I think those are some guys. Could put maybe even Joe Brady, but I doubt that. Mike McDaniel.
OCJB.
Yeah, McDaniel's offense, and so let's focus on Kingsbury and Chris Shula.
All right, but before you get into that, I think if they announced Joe Brady was the head coach, I don't know how I'd feel. I think right now, I would think I would be disappointed because he's not a young, exciting, talented, in my opinion, but he's getting a lot of attention. He's getting a lot of interviews. What does that mean? Like, do these guys know more than what Bills fans see? I mean, he can be creative. He's not like Brian Daboll. He was not super creative. There was times he was really frustrating, but then he seemed to make the right adjustments. So I will give him that. And in their offense, there were no slouch. The offense performed well.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say one thing about they do a force down the Bills this week. They did they passed to Shakir, then they did the lateral to I think it was Davis.
Oh yeah. The hook and
ladder.
Hook and ladder, yeah.
Yeah. It's something like that, but he does that a lot, and it seems to work out. He does have good design plays. So
yeah, that got us a first down, and they did the same thing the week before.
Here's my question: if you have a top 5 defense and a top 10, if you have a top 3 offense, we'll say, and a top 10 defense, you want to improve your defense as much as you can.
Yeah.
While also focusing, so that's where we're gonna go here with Kingsbury. He's an offensive coach. Played quarterback, coached quarterbacks, and was a college head coach before becoming an NFL head coach I think he was for the Cardinals, 2019-22. Offenses were built around passing, spacing, tempo, and spreading the field. I really like that system is designed to get receivers open, such as asking the quarterback to make them happen. I mean, Josh Allen, we know he could do that, but if we want him to stick around until a while, and just you gotta do the air raid system,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he was a
What else? What else you got about Cliff or
Kingsbury?
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury.
Head coach, Texas Tech from 2013-2018, and
what's his overall record in college?
35-40. In the Big 12, his teams went 19-35. I mean, he's had some offense tech.
What's his NFL? Sorry, what's his NFL record?
28-37-1. Okay, he's never had a winning overall in any league. The only time he's had a winning season was 11-6. It was Cardinals 2021, but then they lost in the wild card. I mean, with him, he's a good coach, but I mean, just firing, it would be really weird to fire Sean McDermott because he wasn't going far in the playoffs, to hire a head coach who does not have much experience in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we'll take a look at Shula.
Chris Shula? What? Oh, okay. Yeah. So Kingsbury's definitely offensive minded, and his background is all about modern passing concepts and quarterback production. No look passes. He can be a complex play caller, but so that's that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for an offensive minded coach, not a defensive, but you can get a lot out of a defensive minded coach as long as he's got the good coordinators. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times the head coach, whether he's offense or defense, sometimes it doesn't really even matter. You know what I mean? Like, offensive coach, head coach, doesn't necessarily have a better offense than a defensive-minded head coach. So I know we put a lot of stock into that, but sometimes it doesn't always pan out that way.
Yeah, what you're saying about defensive-minded coach is McDermott was defensive-minded coach. He was a defensive coordinator. So if we want to do something different, we got to try to think outside the box here, not just go with what we did.
Yeah.
And then just get, kind of a better coach.
Going from a defensive-minded to another defensive-minded, yeah.
Yeah, just like Kingsbury, a lot more experience in playoffs. So,
yeah. So what about Chris Shula?
I think an offensive-minded coach would help Josh Allen, especially when the wide receivers struggle to get separation. That would make the game way easier and harder. So, Chris Shula. He was a coach who played college football in Miami University, Ohio, Miami, that one.
Oh, okay.
As a linebacker from 2004 to 2008. He began coaching as a graduate assistant at Ball State and Indiana University from 2010 to 2013. 2014, he was a DC at John Carroll University. He led defense to NC Division III quarterfinals. Entered the NFL in 2015 when the San Diego Chargers as a defensive quality control coach. 2017, he joined the Rams. He was progressively promoted to assistant linebackers coach, pass game coordinator. In 2024, he became the Rams defensive coordinator. Shows he has experience on the defensive side of the ball and rising. He's going up the coach ranks.
Yeah.
And as a DC, units were at least part of the Rams defense stage, competitive, helped the coordinator position groups on one of the league's most frequent playoff teams, the Rams. Chris Shula, he's a defensive-minded coach, but I still like him. He coached in the NFL for over a decade, has worked linebackers, defensive linemen on one of the most consistent defenses in the NFL. The Rams defense, they play fast. They're disciplined like the Patriots, like Vrabel, what he did to them. And that Rams defense has stayed strong,
even through switching out a lot of players have changed, and yet the Rams defense has still stayed strong.
Yeah, even those two coaches that we just reviewed, they both have
Shula.
They both have problems that the other one has. We just talked about defensive-minded coach is Shula, and he has experience. Kingsbury, he's an offensive-minded coach, he doesn't have experience, so we might have to try to find someone.
Well, no. Kingsbury was the head coach in Arizona.
I know.
Shula's the one that doesn't have any.
Yeah, I'm saying Cliff King. No, I wasn't. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying Cliff Kingsbury is more offensive coach, and he doesn't have playoff experience, while Shula's defensive coach, but has playoff experience.
Oh, playoff experience.
Yeah, so okay. I think we might have to maybe expand upon.
Well, no, Kingsbury did coach. He had 1 year where he took them to 11-6.
Yeah.
And they lost in the wild card.
Well, yeah, so
it's one game, yeah.
Yeah, it's
not like a lot.
One game where they were good and
then
they
they lost in the first.
Yeah, they're not really a defensive coach. So if they want to go anyone, they could do Clint Kubiak, offense coordinator of Seattle. Could be obviously Brian Dable, Mike McDaniel. So they got a lot of options, the Bills.
Yeah, I would like Brian Dable. And I'm going to say right now, if he's the coach, I'm going to invite him onto this podcast because I know he loves West Seneca.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So for you, Mason, it's less about the offense or defense and more about having a young, innovative head coach. Is that right?
No, it's not.
No? Oh, okay.
I think I want a more experienced coach with play experience. Because they know how to trust, they know how to control that in high-stake moments.
Okay.
Have the stability. No, they basically have, all I'm saying is they have experience. That's what you need. You can't have, like, a first-year head coach that just went out of college and immediately throw them into a AFC Championship game. That's not going to... No, I don't think that'll work out.
I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm a little torn on that. Like, a young, exciting coach who's never had a head coaching job? No, I don't know. I don't know about that. What do you think, McDermott? Do you think McDermott could go to Pittsburgh? And coach there for 20 years?
Well, not. I don't
maybe
think
25 more.
No, I don't think he'll. I think he might even take a year off. But if there's any teams that could use him, I think he would probably do more of a younger team with fresh starters like the Bills. I don't think you'd go to Aaron Rodgers, no.
Okay.
So, yeah, let's go to the next thing. Yeah, so the offseason, so this offseason is going to be the biggest in Bills history. New coach, same front office, promoted. And Super Bowl window, it's not going to stay open. Josh Allen's not going to get any younger. Guys, so if they want to win, they need to win now. And I like what they did there with just, you got ticking time bomb right now. They have the window to win, and you need to execute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just really hope they don't waste Josh Allen's prime. I don't want to look back and say we fired the wrong person. I want to say that was a good decision, So
you want to do a little rapid fire?
Sure.
All right. You ask me a quick question, I'll ask you. Okay, when you look back at the Bills' loss to the Denver Broncos, what's the one thing that stood out to you?
I would say
that bothers you.
Turnovers. Josh Allen and the turnovers when they went for the there's like 20 seconds left, they went super aggressive. That and just a lot of costly mistakes in the Bills.
Okay. You're next.
Does it feel like the Bills lost the game, or do you think Denver won it?
I feel like the Bills lost it. When you look at the stats, how we were dominant in just about every category, third downs, red zones, just everything except turnovers. And I don't think that last play was a turnover, so I'm going to say the Bills lost that game. Denver didn't win it.
Yeah. So, all
right. So, on the Brandon Brooks interception. Brandon Cooks. Did you think it was a Bills catch when you saw it live?
When I saw it live, no. I saw Denver running away from it and immediately heard interception. But looking at replay, it was, it was still a very tight call, and I would think it was me at the time. I didn't know a lot of the rules, so.
Right.
I would say
in the moment though, yeah, right.
I did not think it was a catch. I heard an interception by I don't even know who it was. Troy Aikman, I think it was.
Tony Romo.
Yeah. Yeah. If that call goes for the Bills win it with the Prater field goal, or whatever they want to do.
What's that?
If that call goes for a catch for Buffalo, do the Bills win it in overtime?
Yes.
Do you want to emphasize on that or just
no?
Okay.
They were in field goal range. They would have won the game. Do you think the one play changed how the entire season? Do you think that one play changed how the entire season is being judged?
I do not. I think the Bills were a consistent team, James Cook, and you can't, when it's a playoff, the season can end and change in just one play. So I don't really think that one play changed it. And they could have done many things, you know. They could have hit Knox on that 3rd down, 10 seconds left for the touchdown.
Yep.
They could have, not hit him. So there's a lot of things they could have done. But I don't think that one play really changed everything.
Agreed.
Were you surprised when McDermott got fired from the Bills this morning?
Yeah. Yeah, I was. I wasn't expecting it. And then that Bean didn't get fired, and Sean McDermott. I kind of thought that if he was going to get fired, Bean would have been fired with him, and Bean got promoted, and Sean McDermott got fired. So that part I was really surprised about. So I guess I could say, but I mean, when it happened today, and he was like, "Yeah, Sean McDermott's fired." No, yeah, that kind of surprised me.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you think McDermott took too much blame for the playoff losses that came down to a couple plays? So not just
13
this
seconds
last
and all
game.
that.
Yeah, it's not just this last game.
I'm gonna say it's a team sport, like I said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's no one can really take blame for one play, but everyone contributes. So I really think McDermott should not be taking blame, but as a coach, you do have to take some blame in that matter. Can't just say Josh Allen had 5 turnovers. That was horrible. Not 5 turnovers. The Bills.
The Bills, yeah, as a team, had 5 turnovers.
As a coach,
4, but
as a coach, you're not representing yourself as the head coach of Bills. You represent yourself as the Buffalo Bills, how they're playing. So I do not think McDermott should take that blame. But what do you think?
Respectfully.
What do you think about Bean getting promoted?
Well, Bean's a straight shooter. When I saw him at Oak Hill in Rochester at the PGA Championship,
I'm the guy from my TGO team.
He was like, "Go Bills!" And I was like, "Man, that dude, he's so confident, man. He is cool. He was wearing cool shades. He kind of looks like a cool dude."
Oh boy!
A phone call. Oh no, that's all right. Never mind. I gotta turn that off.
Okay.
Forgot this is still connected.
That should be our hold. That should be our. If you want to call us.
So yeah, so I think Bean is a natural leader, and I'm not surprised that Pagula put him in a elevated leadership role. He carries himself like a leader. He doesn't take crap from no one. You heard what he said on GR, Jimmy and Joe, and he was like, "This is absolute horse crap that you guys are saying that I shouldn't be drafting a wide receiver when we're the number 1 offense in the league last year." So a lot of those comments now are kind of coming back to him, and people are, saying, well, you lacked a lot of wide receiver depth. But anyways, he wasn't wrong, and they're in the top 10 in offense this year in points also. So I just think he needs. So, and I'm taking a long way to answer that question. What do I think about being elevated? Kind of like it, because it's assigned to a plan and in a direction.
Okay.
All right. Final question, and then we'll wrap this up. If you're picking the next coach, are you going offensive minded or defensive minded?
No. I'm just gonna edit your question here.
Yeah. Okay.
I said earlier.
Yeah.
You know what we need?
Talked about this
we
earlier.
need a defensive-minded coach because we have a good offense. If our defense can improve, then we'll be, one of the best teams in NFL.
Yeah. Don't you want a great offense, like explosive?
Defense wins championships. We have a great.
But McDermott was a defensive-minded coach, and he didn't win a championship. He didn't even get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, you have Chiefs, Lamar Jackson, but this year, if you get a defense or even offense, you just need a coach with playoff experience. That's what you need.
Yeah, you put that over. I hear you. That's a valid point. That's a valid point, and that's fine. That's how you answer it. That's fine.
Oh yeah, college football playoffs. Miami.
Oh yeah, we gotta get.
It's tonight. Fernando Mendoza.
Soon. Fernando Mendoza. He's
Indiana. Who do you think is gonna win?
Oh, I think Mendoza in the Hoosiers.
I think Miami, the Hurricanes. are gonna pull off the win here. I think Miami's got a structured team. I think Carson Beck. Much I don't want like Mahomes winning all those championships. Kind of like Carson Beck. He's got a good attitude.
It'd be kind of cool to see him win in two different teams.
But
for two different
even
teams.
if Fernando Mendoza wins or loses, he's most likely going number 1. Yeah, I just want to add one more thing. Dante Moore, Oregon, he's supposed to be the number 2 overall pick.
Okay, yeah, someone was talking about him the other day.
He's going to be playing Oregon because he probably does not want to go to the Jets.
He's not going. Well, sometimes it's a financial decision. They have a nil deal to make a lot of money in college, and they're probably saying if you wait a year, you might go higher in the draft, something like that. I don't know.
Here's the thing.
Why would you not want to go to the Jets?
Well,
they've got a lot of draft
poverty
capital.
Franchise. That's what you say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right.
There was I saw a meme of a guy who was like, "Do you want to have a great way to not start your weekend? Go to the Jets game." All the fans who have bags over their heads. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Jets are never gonna be good.
All right. Well, for the Bills, the offseason is one of the biggest in Bills history. We need to find a new head coach. We've got a new front office leader and a Super Bowl window that is shrinking by the day.
Okay. I already said this.
What's that?
I already said this.
You already said what?
I already said this. This has already been spoken. Can't spoke it again. Well, okay. I just hope they don't waste Allen's prime. I don't want to look back and say they fired the wrong person. I want this to be a great way the Bills capitalize on this playoff ending.
All right, yeah, that's probably how a lot of Bills fans feel. And, I think that's where we'll leave it. So thanks for listening to the Argue Your Point podcast. And we'll be back next week with more news.
Yeah,
more rumors.
Maybe not even rumors. Maybe talk about our new head coach.
Maybe a new head coach. The Sabres, they lost today, but it wasn't a bad performance. It was 2-1. Luukkonen lets in 2 goals. Usually you win. But their goaltender was just standing on their head and was just playing phenomenal. But but we had too much Bills news to cover today to get into the Sabres.
Yeah, check out arguepoint.com. Check out our latest episodes. And so that's all we got for today.
All right, wrap it up.
Send this out.